Okay, Dodge Dakota 08 47 V8. I'm not sure what generation it is. I think it's year 2005 to 2011. I apologize if the video is shit. It's on my phone. Truck crank, no start. I had no spark, no codes. I spent probably 2 weeks on this fucking thing trying to figure it out. What ended up being the problem was the camshaft sensor. It had voltage to the connector. So what I did was I replaced this sensor up in there. Let's disconnect the connector there. Sorry about the video there. Disconnect the connector. Take the bolt out. It's pretty damn hard to get out. Just be careful and slow. Take your time, and it's gonna be frustrating. Once it comes out, replace it with a new one, preferably an OEM Mopar one. But I just got one off of Rock Auto. Put it back in there. But when you put it back in there, take a socket. What worked for me was a 3/4 deep. You're going to put it with the connector off over top of it. And then you're going to take something in there and gently beat it into place. I replaced the sensor. The truck wouldn't start. Still had no code, so I thought it was the crank sensor. Do not touch that sensor in there. That orange piece is the block heater. That connector comes out, you can just pull it off. It's the same exact sensor as that. Well, it's a little bit different obviously, but it's the same bolt. And do not, like I said, take that out unless you absolutely have to. I spent 4 hours trying to remove that sensor, and half of it's in the oil pan. Because if it falls into the block, it'll go out of the oil pan. Not ideal, but to take your oil pan off, it's about 12 hours. So fucking don't do it, because it's four-wheel drive. There's a bunch of shit in the way underneath. So once I beat that in there, I didn't do anything else. I connected it back together, and the truck started. Now the truck started really rough, and I still have a misfire code and a crank position sensor code because I haven't beat it with the socket into there. When I say beat it, I mean just gently, because you don't want to break it, because it's all plastic. This whole piece is plastic. So to get to this sensor, you're going to have to take your fender out. I recommend obviously take your tire off. Take the fender out. There's going to be pieces in here that are quite fucking annoying, but it is what it is. So up top here, to get this thing off, just the only piece I'm going to say is there's a metal piece here where my hand is, up in there, that goes up top. Here, right there, where that hole through there is. It's a metal rivet. You have to pretty well break it to get it out. I wish I could show you. But if your truck has crank, good voltage, won't start, no spark, immediately go to that camshaft sensor. I'm telling you, I spent so much time learning this truck, trying to do this. I took the entire fuse box apart underneath the tip-em. The tip-em was fine. I got a new ECM. It's not installed because I didn't have a code for it. I just had it just in case. But save yourself a lot of money, because I spent a lot of money. I even replaced all of my ignition coils just in case somehow magically they all went at once. To test if you have no spark on this truck, take your bottom coil out there, touch it to something metal, try to find a good piece of metal, try a couple different places. Do not get shocked by that spark plug coming out, or the wire here coming out of this coil. There's a lot of fucking voltage in there. Please be careful when you do this. I'd recommend wearing like a rubber glove or something. But if you'll know if you have a spark, because you'll see it arcing. I had no spark. I can't tell you how happy the truck started. It still needs work. I still have a couple codes. To give reference on other things I had to figure out on the truck was get a proper scanner. I know it's a little bit expensive. Get a proper scanner. Don't get your Wish $2 scanner. I'll show you what I have. This is a $2 piece of shit, which it shows codes, but it doesn't show me this crap here. Now this is a nice, good scanner. I had to get it off my dad. But yeah, I can go through a ton of different things through here. I can link through it. I can connect to internet. I can go to live data. It is, if you work on your own cars, it is so worth it. So now I'll show you. If I press link here, I know it's hard to see. So I don't have any codes, or I have communication error because the key's not in. So let me put the key in. Sorry the video's so long, guys. So I'm going to turn it to the on position. Not going to start it. If there's an existing code there, if I press link, it will go through a scan and it will show. So I have a misfire because it's starting really rough, because I think because of the crankshaft code. Now, before I had this exact code for the camshaft, before I beat it in with the socket, even after replacing and taking a look at the electrical and everything seemed to be working, until I beat that thing in, it did not change. Now there's also a stored code for the crankshaft sensor circuit, which that circuit means a lot of things. That circuit can mean that the wiring from the ECM to the sensor itself on that connector I showed you could be wrong. Like, it could be broken. Take a voltmeter. You have 3 wires: positive, your negative, and your signal. You should have some trucks it's 12 volts on the positive, some trucks it's 5, and then your signal wire should have 5 volts. If you get that out of the connector, that means you have it voltage all the way from your battery to the ECM that I showed you before to that connector. So immediately that's going to be your sensor. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and I'm going to take that socket and I'm going to lightly beat that crankshaft sensor into place. Now again, you might not have this problem, but it's just good reference for both of those sensors. You can do the same thing. I believe, if you're wondering why I have a misfire, or if you have a misfire doing this, I am assuming because the truck is starting so rough, it's building fuel, but the sensor is maybe halfway in, is my guess, and it's not seeing it sometimes because it's a magnet on the end of that sensor, and there's a piece on the wheel that there's like a flywheel that spins around and it reads it, so the truck can tell the computer when to fuel and when to spark. This is so important. Your truck will not start if the computer tells it not to. It doesn't matter if everything is perfect. If your computer does not read from these stupid fucking sensors that are so vital, she won't start. I hope this was helpful. This was fucking 2 weeks for me. Terrible. I'm no mechanic. I just love my old truck. Good luck, guys.